Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Becoming iQueen-iEmpress. Today I am not continuing my story as yet. I just want to explain a little bit about myself and my personality, because some persons have some questions like, oh, you never think, say, about the lies and whatever, especially with that individual having being in a relationship. If you don't know, say man tell lies and lies about them woman and there's something there. Yes, I do know that men lie, but I was pretty naive earlier on in my life because of inexperience, lacking personal experience with certain things. So yes, I did know that men lie, but my own I'm also not one to, whenever I say use, so basically with me, one bad apple don't spoil the lot, right? And everybody for me is a clean slate. That is how life is for me, despite of everything that despite of anything that one person will come to me and say, say Jackie no nice, or Tom no nice, or whatever. I believe that each person's personality may not get along with every personality. You understand? So I know that I won't get along with everybody, but it doesn't mean that that individual is bad. You get me? It doesn't mean that that individual is bad. So with me, if I'm going to be in a relationship, or I'm going to start a relationship, it doesn't mean that because me been hurt in the past, that means every man are the same thing. No, with that said, even though I grew up in a household where my father raised me and my father was a womanizer, I have had little experience in a relationship. And at that time, I made it very new, right? I've had 3 to date. I have had 3 significant relationships in my life. 3 of them. The very first one, when I became aware of myself as a young woman, I became aware of myself, and my very first relationship was with an older person, because the one time the father decided to really talk to me, sit me down, I was 18 when he realized, say, okay, me start get attracted to the opposite sex. He sit me down one day after church and he said to me, daughter, you're young, I want you to explore your options. Now just say yes to somebody and then you think say just go forever after. And when you decide to settle down with anyone, make sure the person is at least 10 years older than you. That's what my daddy said to me. And I was very young and impressionable. My father don't talk, but not even did not notice that my father noticed me like boys and then something there. So I guess that reside with me. And I've always been attracted to older men. So my very first relationship was with somebody that was older, and it was a good relationship. It's just that I also know that, well, I am I don't know, don't say me a Gemini, but there was a time limit. Give me a moment. Mommy duty. Okay. So it was a good relationship. He set the pace for what to this day, what I believe that a relationship should be. I know that because I was so young and I was new to relationships, and what daddy had said to me about, nobody go like your first relationship, you really go put your heart in there, whatever. So I guess I put a time limit on that, and me did legit put one time limit on it. So it never lasted more than 2 years. No, maybe a year and a half, I don't know. But I ended that relationship, because me young and me did want to really explore, and shortly after, boom, that was my son's father. So I didn't have much. After that relationship, I dated and then gone right in a serious relationship which lasted 5 years. And with that, before that, my very first relationship was again a mature person, and he never gave me any, I wasn't lied to, me never have no problems, I didn't have no competition or nothing like that. Things where me hear women complain about in a their relationship, I didn't have that. I didn't have that experience. It was pretty good until I outgrew that, and I moved on. And then decided, I worked on my staying in a relationship with my son's father. It lasted 5 years, but I outgrew the relationship. And then there right after was individual, and individual was a mature person, and how he was so different from how my son's father was, and took charge, and I didn't have to do a lot of man in the relationship. I don't know, but I could be a little bit more feminine and a little bit more relaxed in the relationship. And I guess that learning the type of person that he portrayed himself to be was an eye-opener for me, and it was very reassuring. So with my experience with a mature person before my son's father, not having to worry about certain things, and what this mature person said to me, being so many years older than me, I had no reason to doubt. You understand? Because them the time they never experience, man are blatantly lied to me or anything like that. Not even with me. Not even with my son's father. Me never say he's a saint, but when it comes to blatant lies and them something about himself and who he is, and in personal, like with him family and all of these things, I never experienced that. So I went into this situation. It was very new for me. Very, very new. It's a new experience. So everything that was said to me, I took it as face value. I took it as is. So one of my kids crying, just a moment. Yes. So yeah, so there were so many things that I myself never experienced, and a man coming out to me telling me lies, or telling tell half truth, or whatever the case may be. I've never experienced that myself. Sometimes you're there and you say, oh, that would never happen to me, or that could never happen to me. I was never, that could never happen, but that has never happened to me. So I never know how I personally would handle a situation like that. Also, I'm going to tell you this. I said it in my videos that I didn't have an intention to fall for nobody. That was not my intention. It was just my intention to come out of my shell and explore and find who I am outside of, a relationship and as a woman, So because when I was 18, I was in a relationship, and then by me at 20, a serious relationship, became a mother at 23, and so it's like me never know myself as an adult, in an adult stage, outside of being a parent or a girlfriend in a committed relationship. You understand? So that was my mindset. And when this person, would show me all his emotion and tell me, like, why are you afraid of letting go? And, like, I was constantly being asked things like that. But because I would say it like, me afraid to just go into that, because me guard my heart ever since. Like, wholly and solely, ever since. Not saying I was cold or anything like that, but because it's not my nature not to care. I am I'm an empath. It is in my nature. And I'm going to go deeper in, because I'm really finding myself, really learning who I am. So it is in my nature to care, but when it comes to my inner being, like my heart, it is very guarded. So when this person is like, let go and, believe in faith, things are not coincidence or things like that, you say to me. At first, for the first few months, I was very guarded, right? And I would listen, but I would see the actions. It's not just the words, but the actions behind the words would tell me otherwise. I'm a big pan action, even though that's only little something. So, I was being led by my heart, or let me say heart, but my emotions. I was being led by my emotions more than I wasn't overthinking things. I was just literally going with the flow. I told myself I am going with the flow, and that's what happened. I went with the flow. I didn't overthink. I took what was said to me, and I had at that time had no reason to say, but if this or whatever, because there was no obvious nothing, right? So that is how I ended up going through. Sometimes, boy, it then say ignorance is bliss, but and you can always say, oh, this will never happen to me, or if I did me or whatever. But when your emotions are caught up in things, the heart wants what it wants, and you will tell yourself, you'll convince yourself otherwise. And it happens all the time, even outside of a relationship. If you want shopaholic and you lost money and you decide, say, you want the shoes there, and even though you have shoes in that the color there, and it's a red shoes, and you have 100 red shoes already, you'll tell yourself that, but I don't have the red shoes with the open toes, even though everything else are pumps or whatever. So it's like you'll tell yourself, you'll convince yourself as to why it is right. With me, I was just saying that it's a sign from the universe, like, yeah, so why things happen the way it did, and all of these things, and so it could have been designed, for us to be that way because of some other plans that the universe have, but or what you'd say God have. But guess what? We don't know. Still on a journey, and I just thought I'd share this with you. All right, bye, and the other video soon come. Tell your friends about me.